All right, so this is the old Cerner tracker. This is not the one that you guys will be using. But it's sort of I was going to say the launch point, but it really isn't. It's the old Cerner. Okay, let me bring up, if I open up a chart, do you see the mostly blank screen for patient lab minor?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, all right. So for us, and actually for you, it's going to be similar. My way of opening any chart is I like to right click right on the name, bring up a small menu, and I know you guys will have this menu. It's slightly different. They added a couple of things, but basically I'll just right click and go to documentation if I want, depending on where I want to go. There's lots of other ways, both in launch point and in the old tracker, to get into the chart, but everyone has their favorite way. Sometimes it's double click on the first column. I prefer to right click on the name. That way I'm sure I'm opening the right chart, because sometimes if you're off by a line, you can open the wrong chart. Launch point is better because the lines are wider, and so I think you're less likely to make a mistake. Anyway, once you go into open the record, I'm sorry, I opened it. I'm going to go back to lab test, NHMC test. Once you open the record, you have your menu over on the left side, and the documentation is my default that it opens, but you can choose whichever one you want. They are, Common Spirit is and basically with the later go lives, they prefer to use the ED View tab. Beautiful, my save favorites and everything. Okay, so the workflow, I have my quick orders as my first tab, and I have workflow as the second tab. The workflow tab is the way that Common Spirit is going to suggest that you create your DynDoc chart. And they have you do that by clicking into and then dictating your various sections of the chart. Okay, let me redo the dragon. Okay, so if I wanted to just use the workflow process, this is what they're going to train you. You would open a chart by first putting in the HPI. This is a 45-year-old male with a past history of hypertension and type 2 diabetes mellitus who presents to the emergency department with 6 days of chest pain, period. Okay, you throw that in there. Then your review of systems. In this situation, if I was going to use the workflow, I would just say insert ROS. And that was a mistake because it caught a word right there. It would do that. My standard ROS is just all others. All others. Oh, darn, I've got the microphone off. This is hilarious because I'm talking while the mic is on. Okay, that's what that would do right there. Then as you go down to physical exam, insert exam, and would blow in my examination, and then I would change it as needed. For example, let me get rid of that thing right there. I'm doing something that I normally don't do, so that's why it's coming across pretty clumsy. Okay, so if I needed to change the exam, I can't talk with the mic on. Mild right-sided tenderness is noted. And then let's see, there's MDM I can do here. This 27-year-old female presents with abdominal pain, period. Laboratory studies are utilized to assess for acute infection, severe anemia, acute kidney injury, and results are unremarkable, period. The DMO is fairly accurate, not a lot of issues there. Okay, then there's some labs. I'm just scrolling down. Then what they show you to do is to then get to the bottom and click on, and this thing goes on forever. Where's the other way instead of doing it is, there it is, create note. So if I click on ED note, it takes everything and blows it into a chart.
Do you typically do that at the end when you're done with everything? That's kind of the last step.
I don't do, I'm actually showing you the process that they show you, but that I don't do. So I'm first showing you the way that I don't do it, and then I'm going to show you the way that I do it.
Got it.
And I'll tell you why. So the workflow process then blows in any data that is currently available, like if the nurses have done chief complaint or mode of arrival, it just blows it in. Here's the HPI that I dictated. Health status is auto-populated with anything that's apropos. Really, there's not much. Physical exam blew in, my physical exam. At the very top, the vital signs would appear, but there are none in this test patient. If I had done any orders prior to opening the note, they would blow in. Otherwise, all I have to do with any section, all you have to do is click on that double curved arrow that refreshes it with any new information that may not have gone in. Now that's the one big advantage of PowerNote compared to DyneDoc. PowerNote, every time you open a note, automatically refreshes all the sessions. DyneDoc, you have to know that you have made a change and then just click on it. So you end up, as you create your note, toward the end when you're doing your MDM and closing your note, you may go back once or twice and click on a few refreshes just to get it up to speed, like anything the nurses added, most recent vital signs, or all your lab results or radiology results, et cetera. So then basically, once you have your open note, you can go into the procedure section and all the other sections and dictate what you need. The lab sections, to bring the lab results, all you do is either refresh, just refresh it and it brings it in, or sometimes you can even use a drag in command if you want to pull certain labs in, if you set those up. Radiology is also easy, just click to refresh. If you wait to create your note until the end of the encounter, then all that data is automatically available and it gets flown in automatically when you open the note. And that's great, some people do it that way. I prefer to start my note, get my history down, get my physical exam down, and then toward the end of the stay, just before I discharge somebody, I'll just refresh those 3 or 4 sections, blows them into the note, and that way, sure, I have to click a few times, but I can I can do my H&Ps right after I see the patient when it's fresh in my mind. So there's different ways to tackle this animal. I do it one way. I think most people open a note and they like to do their charting right away.